Welcome back to the channel, Say What's Real TV. This review is for Tyler Perry's Zatima, Season 1, Episode 8, About Last Night. So we open up the episode exactly where we left off in Episode 7. We have Deja moving in. She's introduced herself to Fatima. Fatima is giving her straight stank face, major attitude. So she says, oh, so you say your name is Deja. So she holds up her phone in Deja's face and says, is this you? Deja, she looks at the phone. She said, oh, yeah, girl. Oh, that was a wild night. She all bubbly and hyper and just energetic. And Fatima still looking at her like, girl, pipe down. So she said, and who are you? Are you a fan? Fatima looked at her like, a fan? Like, girl, I don't even know who you are. So Deja keep just running her mouth off, just telling everything and how she was desperate and needed somewhere to stay and going on. And she was like, why am I telling you all this? Who are you? And then Fatima looked at her like, you better know who I am type look. And she said, oh, you're his girlfriend. She said, oh, you have nothing to worry about. Oh, me and Z Money. Fatima like, Z Money? Like, what, y'all got nicknames for each other already? She was like, nah, girl, I give everybody a nickname, Sugar Plum. Fatima looked at her like, that's what we will not be doing. So Fatima asks Deja, how long has she known Zach? And Deja says, honestly, girl, I just met him yesterday. Fatima looked like, oh, and here you are already moving in. She said, yes, look at God. And she goes on rambling all bubbly and cheerful and excited. And she, she ain't reading the room. So Fatima was like, girl, I see. And Deja was like, you see what? What is it you see? So Fatima like, girl, just go ahead and finish moving in. And Deja was like, well, I was just trying to be nice. And Fatima was like, and so was I. Deja said, well, I sure hate to see how you are when you being mean. And of course, Fatima like, you damn sure would. So she goes and knock on the door, I guess, to get in to go see Zach. And then Deja over there hollering at the doggone movers, telling them to go put all these boxes in the bathroom because she got all her expensive vibrators in the box, all loud and proud. I'm like, that girl, that is crazy. So Fatima goes inside, and here comes Jeremiah from upstairs. I don't know what the hell he been doing up there all this time. I forgot his ass even went up there. He comes down there. Zach gets ready to introduce him to Fatima, and he says, oh, I already met her, and she's banging. I'm like, these men in Zach's life, friends, brother, they are so disrespectful when it comes to anything, and especially his girl. So Zach tells Jeremiah that he needs to bounce because he wants to talk to his lady. And Jeremiah's like, oh, so you want me to leave? Like, yeah, that's exactly what he wants, Jeremiah, for you to leave. So then he wants to have all the sense in the world. So he goes to patting all over his jacket pockets, talking about, oh, where's that check? And he pulls it out, but he did that basically so that Fatima would see that Zach gave him some money. So you see Fatima, she gives him this little look like, ugh. But before Jeremiah leaves, he couldn't help himself. He has the nerve to ask Zach to hold the keys to his car. Of course, Zach told his behind no. Then he says, damn, she's fine. Talking about Fatima. And I'm like, just total disrespect. Then it sounded like he said, bye, old lady. So Zach apologizes for Jeremiah's behavior, and the two of them agreed they want to talk to each other. So Zach asks Fatima, does she want to sit down? Fatima is like, nope, with her arms all folded. She's like, nope. Zach was like, well, you go first. Fatima said, what I want to know is why the bitch you was with last night is moving in next door. Zach goes through this whole spiel about how the realtor, Valerie, signed a lease agreement and he can't get out of it. And Fatima was like, oh, she can't do that. He told her that she could because they came to an agreement ahead of time that she can go ahead and sign people just as long as Zach has seen the person, which he did see her. He did see Deja. And Zach was like, he did not know that Deja was a stripper. And all that took place prior to the party last night. And Fatima, of course, she's like, oh, so you're full of shit. Like, she's not giving him the benefit of the doubt. But when she tells Zach that Ian had cancer, that was supposed to be the stone cold truth. Like, it's all the same. It's all the same. Like, why should I believe you when you can't believe me? So Zach is begging her to stay. And she's like, oh, no, I'm going to get my stuff. And knowing damn well she ain't going nowhere. But, you know, he begging anyway. And he said, come on, I'll make a deal with, I'll make you a deal or whatever. And I'll do whatever it is you want. And she was like, well, you know what? I like a good deal. So Zach is like, whatever you want. And she says, I need you to cancel Deja's lease because I know her. And Zach's like, damn, you know her too? Fatima says, no, I know her type. She's not going to have the rent 1 month. Then she's going to be trying to have sex to make payment for the rent. Then I'm going to have to kill her. And then Zach looking like Fatima. He was like, what, you want me to go to jail? He said no. So she was like, well, she got to go. Zach tells her the whole spiel about the possible discrimination suit because he saw her stripping and all this and that, and it's against the law because he already called and asked about it, and he can't do anything. So they basically come up with this thing that where they're going to make it a trial run because her lease is only 6 months. So they're just going to see how all that play out with Deja. So Fatima heads up the steps to go to the bedroom, and Zach is like, where are you going? She said, I got to go get dressed for work. He said, so that means you're staying? With a smile on his face, he done got all happy. She said, we'll talk about that when I get off. He said, well, can I at least take you out to dinner? She says, we'll see. He said, well, can I touch it? She stopped on the step and is like, you're pushing it. You're pushing it. We got Nate, Zach, and Tony. They're at the gym having a little boxing match or whatever. Zach beating Nate ass, so he done beat him down to his knee. He go all about time out, you trying to kill me. So Nate go tell him, talk about, don't be mad at me, you mad at her. You trying to take it out on me. So him and Tony get the bickering, holler about, oh, it's all your fault. You started this. And he like, you the one took the picture. And Zach told him, y'all hold up. It ain't even that serious because me and her good. We straight. Y'all ain't got to be fighting about it. So basically, Nate has a problem because he thought it was going to be a done deal. And he mad, low-key mad because they going to be working it out. Hater. Angela and Fatima looks like they're on their lunch break having some lunch. And she gets a phone call from Zach. He's still in the gym. And he's calling to confirm that she will go out to dinner with him later on that evening. And with a little hesitation, she decides that, yeah, she'll go ahead and go. He tells her they'll go to some little fancy restaurant and meet up about 6 o'clock. And he was like, go ahead and tell me you love me. Fatima gets off the phone with Zach. And Angela was like, well, was that him? Fatima's like, yeah, that was him. She's like, well, what did he say? Like, she really give a damn. But Fatima was like, well, you know, he wants to go out to eat later. We gonna talk about a few things or whatever. And she was like, well, girl, guess what? You want to hear this? I get there earlier today, and the girl from the picture was moving in. Angela says, wait a minute. So he moved you out and moved her in? Now, see, that's what Belinda was trying to warn your ass about. Fatima was like, girl, pump your brakes. Hold on. Un momento. 1 moment, please. Fatima tells her, no, girl. He was not moving her in his house. He was moving her in next door where she's going to lease the place. So Fatima tells Angela that Zach did not know that Deja was a stripper when she did her application. And, of course, Angela was like, oh, so you believe all that? And she was like, well, hey, that's what he said. And, she rolling her eyes like, girl, whatever. If that's what you want to believe type look. So Fatima asked her, what's the problem? She was like, girl, relationships shouldn't be all this drama. I mean, wait till you find out about Bryce and who he's over there lusting. Let's get some action over there with you and see how you handle everything and see if you want to go believe in everything somebody tell you. Right there in that moment, if I was Fatima, I would not stop being friends with Angela. But when it comes to me and Zach's relationship, and especially if it's something negative, I probably would not talk to her about it anymore, because it's just too much going on between her and what Belinda got to say, and Belinda always going over to her house, popping up, and just to keep everything down. I would probably keep my business to myself going forward, especially if it's like anything negative towards Zach. So if me and Zach gonna work it out, try to make things work, I just wouldn't even tell her anything at this point in time, because that's just too much. You keep putting everybody in y'all business, and that's why they got so many opinions and all of this. So no more. She asked the question, how are y'all doing? I'll be like, girl, we good, we straight, it's all good. So the two of them go back and forth about how Ian wasn't all this drama, and Fatima was like, yeah, until I found out he was lying. It was all supposed to be easy breezy until he got caught and all of that. Then she tells her that Miss Margaret called her, and she mad at him because he gave her her phone number. Now, I'm kind of confused with the whole phone number thing, because did you just recently give Ian your phone number, or is Ian still calling the same number that you've had from back when y'all were together? Because if your number is the same, Miss Margaret should have still already had your number, since she loved you to death. And if he just got your number, when and why did you give him your phone number? I'm confused. So Angela did ask Fatima, did she tell Zach that Miss Margaret called her and that she want her to come have dinner with her or whatever? Of course, Fatima, I guess she processing that too, says, no, I haven't told him yet, but I will. And Angela was like, good girl, because y'all don't need no more drama. Zach goes over to Bryce's office, and Bryce asks him, you didn't call me. Zach says, that's because you was at work. He asked Zach, did he get his car? Zach said yes. Bryce asked him about the property listings. Did he receive those from Valerie? Zach told him, yes, I emailed them to you. So Bryce tells him, let's go ahead and take a look at the listings on the computer. So Zach comes and stands behind him to look at the listings. He puts his hand all over Bryce's shoulder. Then he puts both hands, congratulate him like, yeah, let's do this. And, they're excited and happy. But of course, like I said, Zach not thinking the same way that Bryce is thinking. Zach is just, in his own little world, just looking at the listings. Bryce don't know what listings probably on the screen, because all he thinking about is Zach's hands all over his body. Bryce tells Zach that he needs to talk to him, and it's really kind of hard for him, actually, pun intended. So Bryce says it's actually a question. So, are you bisexual? Zach is taken aback a little bit, like, no. Bryce says, are you sure? Zach is like, I'm pretty sure I would know if I was bisexual or not, bro. Like, where's this coming from? Why are you asking me this? So Bryce goes ahead and recants all the little things that has been going through his mind. So he says, well, last night you got undressed in front of me and went and got in the shower. Zach looking like, okay, and I was drunk as shit. And besides, we grown-ass men. Like, what they got to do with anything? So Bryce says, well, then before that, you told me you wish we would get married or something. Zach is like, well, it was a joke. Remember, I was like, pause. And do you remember I said, yeah, your brain and Fatima's body. You remember that? Because I do. Even though I was drunk, I do remember that part. Bryce is like, yeah, but yeah, stuttering and shit. But you touch me a lot. So Zach says, wow, I guess it's some kind of miscommunication here because he's like, I'm an affectionate person. That's just how I am. Being my friends, we just grown men. We don't even think about that kind of stuff. We get undressed, we hug, we pound. That's just what we do. And Bryce is like, okay, okay. Zach says, what do you think? I want you or something? Bryce says, well, I wasn't sure, so that's why I had to ask. Zach told him, he said, be sure. Be sure, because I'm not gay, I'm not bi, I'm not any of those things. He said, I'm not homophobic. Let's get that clear. I don't have a problem with any of that. But just know, I like coochie. That's what I like. So Bryce tells Zach, okay, good. I'm glad we got that all cleared up. But I have a question. So I'm wondering, is Bryce actually bisexual and wanted it laid out on the table to know if he may have had a chance going forward with Zach? Or is Bryce a straight man that felt uncomfortable with all of the mixed signals that Zach was throwing him? But the problem with that part is he went home rock hard to Angela after seeing Zach naked. So that would lead me to believe that he was bisexual, which there's no problem with that. But I'm also glad that the conversation was had. I'm glad he stepped to him face to face in person and actually asked Zach what was going on so he would know. I do like that they didn't drag that out. So I really did kind of like the scene that he actually did get his question answered. So Zach laid it out on the table. He is not into that kind of stuff. So anything that happens going forward, Bryce, is going to be on you, because Zach did tell you he is into the P. He likes the cooch. That it is what it is. So we see Zach, he's home. He done went and got all dressed, looking all good. So he's going outside. So he sees Deja out there on the front lawn, stretched out on a lawn chair, sunbathing. She got this music all blasting all over the neighborhood. I don't know where this girl thinks she at, but Zach is trying to ease out the house and all got his body all pressed up against the wall so that Deja doesn't see him, but of course she does. So Deja says, hi, Zach, as he trying to sneak past. So he was like, oh, hey, Deja. So she gets up. She's like, oh, you want to see what I did with the place? Like, all excited and stuff. And he's like, no. She trying her hardest to get him up in that apartment. So then she tells him, oh, I have a problem. And he says, well, what's going on? She said, oh, I have a pipe. Something's wrong with my pipe. He said, what's wrong? He said, it's leaking. So she gives him this little sly little grin or whatever. And so they go with all that innuendo shit back and forth. He's stammering and stambling, and she was like, just take a breath, Zach, take a breath. He then tells him how freaky she is and how she wouldn't tell Fatima anything. She know how to keep a secret. And Zach tells her, he said, look, I love my lady and I love my life. You gonna have to chill, bro. You gotta chill. And then he tells her, and then you all out here half naked. He said all these kids running around here playing and hopscotching and doing all this, and you run around here. She said, well, I put shorts on. He said, well, what? Like, you was out here with no shorts with all that? And he said, you got the music all blaring, all that thug music. You got to turn it down. You got to turn it down. So basically he said, man, and I got to go. So she just gets up and bends all over with all her butt all in that. Zach still being Zach, like, God damn. He can't even get to the car good enough, looking all in her behind. So Zach and Fatima, they're at the restaurant, and he's telling her, thanks for coming to meet me. And she was like, well, I love you, all of this. And they want to be able to try to start talking the way they were talking before. And Zach was like, well, we were talking. And Fatima was like, what, until I didn't tell you about Ian? Yeah, Fatima. Like, you didn't even have to ask that. You already know what started it. He was like, yeah, I was hurt about it. And Fatima says, well, you didn't give me a chance to tell you. Yes, he did, Fatima. Zach tells her, that's not fair because I asked you several times. I don't hear Fatima trying to say she apologized for anything. She just thinks that I was going to tell you when I got around to it, and basically that was it. And another thing, then she says, well, are we going to start being honest with each other? So all she is worried about is what Nate and Tony has to say. So right there is when she said, are we going to start being honest with each other? What she should have been trying to tell Zach was about Miss Margaret, calling her on the phone and wanting to have dinner and all of that. That's what she should have been talking about. Why are you so concerned with Tony and Nate, girl? Again, I already told you before, you have nothing to worry about with them too, especially Nate. So Zach tells Fatima, well, they weren't talking about you, they were talking about me. So she's insisting on wanting to know what was said. He said, well, if I tell you, you're not going to like them. And she's like, well, if we're being honest, tell me. She just wants to know, child. So he flipped it on her. He said, well, what your friends saying about me? You know, like, shit, what your people saying? So she says, well, Angela likes you. So he's like, well, we're about even, because Belinda hates me. She said, Tony likes you, but you know, Nate is indifferent. And so she was like, well, what did he say? What she want to know what Nate said. So Zach has to clear his throat, take a drink, and build up some kind of courage as if he's scared to say what the hell Nate said. Like, who gives a damn? So he tells her, Nate said that with you just now coming into all this money, are you sure you're ready to settle down? So Fatima asks Zach, are you sure this what you want? And Zach tells her, he said, well, you know, he's trying to be honest. He's trying to have a mature conversation. So he says, well, I have thought about it. You know, with me having money for the first time in my life, me having my own place, and me having options. So I guess all she heard was he want to leave me. I guess that's all she heard. So she says, oh, is that what you want? Zach is like, no. So, because if that's what you want. So she get the texting on her phone. Zach is like, well, who are you texting? Fatima tells him, you know, Zach, you're right. This we're just getting started, and this would be the right time for you to pull out if you wanted to. So Zach with his crazy ass talk about, oh, you know you don't like when I pull out. She gives him that look like he said, oh yeah, bad timing. This nut still trying to make jokes in the midst of this chick possibly walking out on his ass. What that joke does tell me is that the two of them are not using protection, and that she could possibly be pregnant soon. And also, I'm surprised that Fatima doesn't make Zach wear a condom anyway. Zach tells her, anytime I try to be honest with you, you pull back. And that is true. That's the part I love me some Fatima, but it's like, that's the part I don't like. Like, it's like everything be going good, but when he tries to express himself and we, the audience, know that he is telling the truth or trying to be honest and sincere, she does that with like that running type thing, and it's annoying. Like, girl, calm down. So Zach says, I don't know how all of this honesty stuff is going to work out. So Fatima looks and like, are you for real? All frowning up and, you know, with the stank face. So she picks up her phone again and starts texting again. And again, Zach says, who are you texting? She never tells him. Zach is telling her, you're the only person I want to be with. So, of course, Fatima, in her own fashion, but, like, girl, stop it. Just stop. She says, oh, I know what it is. I'm the right girl, but just at the wrong time. And Zach is like, it's just that I want to make sure that we are taking the necessary steps, you know, to make things, you know, make sure everything works out right. So what I took that to mean was, I want to make sure we're communicating. I want to make sure that we're being honest. That's what I took from that. I didn't take that, oh, I want to break up. I didn't take that, oh, I want to be with somebody else and go somewhere to get it together and not be with you. He didn't never said that. I didn't hear it was the right girl at the wrong time. That's not what I heard. If anybody else can tell me what they heard, please put it down in the comments, because that's not what I heard. He is trying to do all the right things to make sure he doesn't fuck shit up. That's what I got. So here comes Ian out of nowhere. He sits down next to Fatima. I'm looking crazy. Zach looking crazy. I said, I know you lying, Fatima. What the hell is this? Zach says, what the fuck? So Fatima tells him, I asked Ian to come. He lives above the restaurant. Like, girl, what the hell that got to do with anything? Because he live above the restaurant. What does that have to do with you inviting him down here to sit at this table? Zach says, what the hell is going on here? And Fatima looks at Ian and says, well, Zach just told me that I was the right girl, but at the wrong time. Fatima, he never said that. If I'm wrong, somebody let me know down in the comments. But I did not hear Zach say, yes, you are the right girl, but at the wrong time. That's not what he said. Zach didn't want to hear that. He still wanted to know, what's this? What's going on? Why is he here? So Ian says, well, that's what I told her. So Zach tells him, I don't care what you said to her. I know that's right, Zach. Like, what the hell they got to do with this? So Ian starts talking all this, well, I'm in love with her, but she's in love with you, and basically telling Zach all his regrets and how Fatima is the right one, and if he could do it all again, he'll give Zach a run for his money. And Zach like, nigga, you can't never give me a run for my money. I said, I know that's right, Zach. Get his ass. So Ian's still trying to say little slick shit out his mouth, and Zach ain't hearing it. He tell him, look, that might be the last thing you're going to say here right now, so you might want to just go on and bounce. So Ian leaves, and Zach looks at Fatima like, really? So she says, oh, well, I didn't need him to prove it. Well, why the hell you brought him there, Fatima? So Zach says, oh, but you texted him. So she says, oh, I just wanted you to see how this goes. Like, girl, what? So Fatima tells Zach, when I'm in, I'm in. When I'm out, there's no getting me back. So you need to make sure this is what you want. And my question to you is, Fatima, if when you're out, why is it when Ian popped up back in your life, it stirred up all these emotions to where you had to process it, and you couldn't cope and all distraught and this and that and the other, and couldn't go to your man and tell him what time it was? If it was no chance of getting you back, it shouldn't have been a chance of Ian being a thing. All this for the last two damn days talk about an Ian, girl. It shouldn't have been like, bumper Ian. Sorry you got cancer. So what was the processing about? What was you processing? What was the emotions being stirred up, girl? Girl, stop playing in our face. So Zach says, all right. He gets up. He doesn't say anything else. He starts putting his jacket on. Fatima's like, oh, wait, so you just gonna get up and leave and walk out? Zach still didn't say anything. Still putting his jacket on all nice and slow. She's getting mad now, so she goes to grab her purse, and she's like, well, I'm leaving too then. So she stands up, and immediately Zach drops to one knee. So she looked at him all crazy like, Zach, what are you doing? He flips the box open, and all we saw was bling, bling, blinding us. We had to, shield our eyes real fast. I'm like, damn, it's bright. It was so beautiful. It was just nice ring. He shut her ass down. She's standing there looking all shocked and appalled. Zach says, is this sure enough for you? She couldn't even answer. And the episode ended there. So we only have 2 more episodes left in season 1. It's going to be so disappointing when that ends. It went by so fast. Will Fatima say yes? I'm sure she will. I hope she does. Will we get these test results back for Heather's child? It's been past 36 hours now. We need those answers. We need to put that to rest so we can move on from that. So yeah, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Can't wait the next week. It's a bittersweet moment. I can't wait, but then I want to wait because then that's going to be the end of the season. So it's like, ugh. But anyway, catch you guys next week. Peace.